Hello everyone, welcome to a new process video today. I am doing 6x8 pocket pages and I'm using some photos from my time in Prague. So this was the first day shortly after we arrived. And actually before I jump in and do any of this, I have a question for some of you. I'm assuming some of you are also YouTubers, that you have a channel. And I recently bought an LED ring light and I love the light it provides, but I hate this, that you can see a reflection. Everything is so glossy that you see that on the page protector in the photos. You don't get that obviously if it's a flat surface, but you do get it with this. How do you avoid that? Is there a trick to how you position the light? If you know these things, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate that. But otherwise, moving on to the layout today. So I need cards for opposite corners here. I think this is the photo placement that I want, and so I need opposite corners. Have to go in search of some pocket cards there. And then I really have no idea what else I'm going to do because they're just random photos from around the city. This is a very famous building in the Malostrana area of Prague, which is the old town, and it's right across the bridge. When we came across, we were like, hey, we recognize that. So it's kind of fun that we were able to drive right by it in our taxi. And the other thing I know for sure I want to do is I want to try to include some green, because there's kind of this mint green here, and then I have a few trees in there, and I'd like to mix that in because otherwise it's a lot of tan and gray and brown, and I'd like to avoid that if I can. So I found this card in my stash and it has some green in it, which I like, and I think I want to place it over here just so there's green on both sides. But what I've discovered is I don't like that these are both in the lower half. So I'm just going to switch these and see what I think. I like the color distribution better, but then I'm going to have the problem that both cards are up top, which I don't like. And I can't really fix that or adjust that because this is a 4x6 pocket. It might depend on what card I find to go here as to whether or not I adjust the placement of any of this. So let's see what happens. I did find another card. I liked this one because it just has black, which goes with everything, and then a light blue, which matches the sky in all of these. It also matches the blue in the globe. I'm not in love with the fact that I have to have both of these cards up top if I do this, but when I switch these, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it like that for now. The nice thing about pocket pages is the top of the pockets are open, so I can switch these around anytime I want if I decide that I don't like it. So maybe I'll go with this configuration for now, and if I hate it later, so be it. I'll switch. If I end up really liking it, then I'll leave it. But I'm at least starting with this design for the layout. One of the things I think I'm going to incorporate for this layout is this acrylic piece. And I have several of these that are from Colorcast Designs, but I've had this one for quite a while. It's probably the oldest one I have. And I've just been waiting for the right spot. And I think here, because there's a nice mix of white in these cards, that I could get away with it. So I think I'm going to put it right down here in the lower right-hand corner. When I attach acrylic pieces, this is the glue that I use. It's Tombow Mono Liquid Glue Multi. It comes with a broad tip and a fine tip. I use the fine tip. And I just put, enough on there to get a basic seal, if it'll work here. Oh, sure. Now it's decided to stick on me. Of course, because I'm on camera. All right, I did get it glued up on the back there, and it's ready to go. The nice thing about this glue, if you haven't tried it, is that it goes on white, but it dries clear. So even if you get, a little too much on there, more than you would like, you're probably not going to notice it once it dries. So I'm just repositioning here just a tad to make sure that that's pretty straight. Yes, I like it. So that will take just a few minutes to dry. It does go pretty quickly, and that may be all I do with this. If I add anything else, it would probably just be some stamping up here, but that's likely all I'll do. As I looked at my photos more, I decided I'm not going to do anything else with this one. I'm going to leave it because this is already kind of a big piece here. But I do want to stamp something in this dead area of the street here. And I'll just do it in black. I will use black StazOn, which I have at the ready. And I think I'm going to use this stamp set, which it's called Away. It's from Carrie Bradford Studio. And I think I am going to use the one that says, I just want to explore. And then it'll fit right in there. Hopefully it'll be dark enough. If not, I could always stamp it on white, cut it out, and then put it on here. But hopefully stamping directly on there will work just fine. So I've inked up my stamp, and I did do a test right here just to make sure I've got good coverage there, and it looks good. So now I just have to strategically place where I want to have this here, because I want to make sure I can see it as well as possible. So probably right in between these marks here. So I'm going to try it like right there and try to go even pressure in the hopes that it doesn't smear or shift. It didn't come out that well. Darn it. So it came out very, very light. I could try to do it over again, right over the top, and see what happens. If it doesn't match up and doesn't look good, I do have the option to print at home. I could just reprint this photo and try again, or I can cover it up with something. So I tried to go over the top again, and I didn't get it positioned correctly. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss this one. I'm going to reprint it at home here quickly and try it again. I'm willing to give it another go and just really try for solid, even pressure and see what happens. So I did reprint and I restamped, and it did come up better. Now I must have a tendency to push harder on the right side, because I can tell that even though you can see it all, it's much darker over here, because I think, that I inked it evenly. When I turned it around and looked at it, it looked okay. But again, it's not perfect, but it's not enough to make me change it again. So that one will be fine as it is. The only thing I might add is just a little something overlapping the bottom, like a semicircle or something. I don't know, or I may just end up leaving it like that. But that one is mostly done. Then I have to decide, do I possibly want to stamp something in this corner, or attach something, because there is some dead space there, and I do want to liven this up a little bit. I have decided to rearrange my photos a little bit. When I had this photo right here, this phrase and the phrase that I had stamped were right on top of each other. They were like this. And when I saw them together and really looked, I didn't like it. So I've adjusted things a little bit by putting this one over here. Then I've got something here. I could add in something here. More than likely it would be up here, because then it would give a visual triangle with that. So I think that's what's going to happen. This one, it's a beautiful building. I don't think I need to add anything there, so that would probably be okay. So I'm going to work with this as my new configuration. Well, a woman reserves the right to change her mind. I've revamped again. I stamped cool photos on this one, which I love, and I'm happy with that. But again, I didn't like the placement once I saw it. So I shuffled things a little bit more. Now this one's in the corner. It's opposite from here. My journaling card will be here. And then my other stamping is on this photo, which I like a great deal. So I think this is what I'm going to stay with. The only other thing that I may do is stamp on this card something about taxi or something, because we only saw these things really because we chose to do a taxi from the train station. Had we taken a tram or something else, we might not have passed the same things. So we kind of got lucky with our taxi ride in that respect. So I want to journal about that, and I thought about maybe just stamping a little cab here, but I'm not sure that I will do that. So while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to see if I want to add any other kinds of embellishments before I finish off this layout. I've decided I'm not going to stamp on this, but I am going to do a little splattering. So I'm going to use this particular color. It's called Margarita. It's a very muted, sort of almost olive green, which I think will go well with the other green elements that I have and bring in a little bit more color. This is an old bottle, Memories Miss. I don't even know that they make this anymore. I've had it forever, but I love the color, so I keep using it. So I'm going to do that. The other thing I wanted to point out was this was the stamp set that I used to stamp on that other photo where it says cool photos. This is a Kelly Perky set. It was when she was still designing for Hero Art, so it's quite old now. Probably you could find it maybe on eBay. I don't think it's anywhere on her site anymore because it's so old, but maybe eBay is the way to go if you really like this one. I've done my splattering. This is what it came out with, and I like it. It's just enough to bring in some color. So I will let that dry, and then I'll put everything together. I did decide to add just a tiny bit of splattering to this card as well, and then it ties in the two cards and makes them look like they really go together. All right, there you have it all put together. So this is what I ended up with for the left hand side. And this is a close-up of the right hand side. I love them. Not a ton of embellishing, but I think it works with this. I really want the focus to be the beautiful architecture in these photos. So as long as I've done that, I've accomplished my goal. Thanks for watching, everyone.